What's up, everybody? Welcome to Guytalk, EP002. Brand new podcast. You might not have seen it, heard of it, listened. Maybe you don't care. Maybe this is an accident, and it's like, hey, what is going on here? Who are these guys? What are they doing in that room? Why is Thor's new weapon in the back? Well, we'll answer all those questions and more. But first, if you don't know, I'm already here. I've been here. I'm Alex Smith, owner, president of Predestined Firearms. This is the podcast for, the business, but whatever. And this is Guy Talk. This is just mainly for guys. Not saying women can't do it, but hey, we're going to talk about guy stuff and we're not going to get offended over different things.
We don't want people out there canceling us.
I mean, we might get canceled, but who knows? We're still, this is whatever goes, because we're dudes. My guest today, Wesley Hales, the man, the myth, the legend, right? If you don't know him, he's been my friend for what, like 14 years?
Going on 15.
Almost 15 years. He's been my friend almost as long as I've been married, so.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I came out here this weekend. We're in Bossier City, I was about to say New Orleans, Louisiana, and we've been hanging out, chilling, shooting some pew-pews, having good time, seeing what's going on in the world. That's mainly what we're going to talk about, is what is going on in the world, specifically Russia, and let me take your initial thoughts, and then we'll go from there.
So my initial thoughts. First off, my first initial thought is, I don't think this would ever happen if Trump would have got reelected. That's my first thought. Because when Trump was president, everybody said, oh, Trump and Putin are best friends. Well, maybe Biden should have been his best friend, and the Ukraine people will be able to sleep in their beds at night comfortable.
But you also do currently have the other side, the lefties, that are saying this is Trump's fault.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
We're going on 2 years that he's been out of office, and they can't keep his name out of their mouth. The biggest one is Adam Schiff. Anything that goes wrong, it's Trump's fault. Like, dude, Trump's not, and this is my biggest thing right here. When Trump was in office, and conservatives said, oh, it was Obama's fault. Everybody on the left said, well, Obama's not in office no more. Let's stop blaming Obama.
Right.
Okay, guys, let's take your own advice. Trump's not in office no more. Let's stop blaming Trump. Let's blame the person that's there. But, and then you got people saying, well, why is this any of our business? Okay, let me let some of y'all people understand things. Go look up all the resources that are in Ukraine. They're in the top 3 in that over in Europe in almost every resource.
Right.
So if Russia goes in there, now Russia's in the top 3 of almost every resource. And given their ties to China, do you really want Russia to have all those resources partnered up with China? China's in Africa. They own several gold mines.
They're in the United States.
Yeah, they're in the United States. They're in South America. People don't understand that if Russia and China, as close as they are, and they get all these resources, before too long, United States and Europe and UN and stuff, they're not going to be able to hold the reins on them anymore. They're just going to run rampant.
Yeah, well, I think too is there's still the unknown. Okay, we already don't have reins on ourselves even.
No,
especially the past 2 years.
Yeah.
Everything has gone out the window. We don't freaking know. We can't control anything. If, let's say, China and Russia, let's say a World War III comes out of this, and it's mainly China and Russia, and they got their lackeys.
Yeah.
But what?
North Korea is going to jump on.
Oh yeah, which they're nothing.
Yeah.
The only reason they did good in the Korean War is because China backed them up. So, anyway, let's say a World War III comes out of this. China. It's not like China can be like, hey, I own this land and this land. Oh, U.S., I own all these roads in this land. It really doesn't make a difference. But as far as Russia or Putin, okay, let's move from why it's happening, right? 'Cause we really don't know why. Honestly, I believe.
I mean, you think of it like I told you earlier. Wars today are not based on, because wars in the past were it was somewhat territory, but it was more. I just don't like this person, or I don't like these people.
Yeah.
Like Hitler.
Mm-hmm.
Hitler thought Jews were this, and he wanted to erase them off the earth. It wasn't so much about resources. He just did not like Jewish people. Today's wars are fought about, okay, this area of land has got this much gold, this much, what is it? The electric stuff.
Fossil fuels or
and coal,
oil,
stuff that they use in the electrical car, lithium,
mm-hmm.
all that stuff. So they're like, all right, I want this parcel of land, and we're guilty of it too. I mean, Gaddafi, when under Obama and Hillary, they got rid of Gaddafi because Gaddafi had a buttload of gold,
mm-hmm.
a buttload. Other areas even then, but the facts are, and I hate to keep beating the Trump drum. I mean, look, I was a Trump supporter. When the whole Capitol thing happened, I was like, I kind of left a sour taste in my mouth because he could have put an end to that. But the facts are, when Trump was in office, you had Jews and Palestinians, in that area, kind of to a peace deal. We didn't have this problem. He went to North Korea. He had freaking fat Kim Jong-un chilled out.
Kim Jong-un?
He had Putin chilled out. Everybody was calm.
Yeah.
So you can say what you want about him. Yeah, he tweeted mean things that hurt your feelings and this and that. But it's ridiculous. But also to spin what you were talking about, we don't have our own reins under control. I saw the best quote the other day. And who's Rand Paul? Is it Ron Paul? Rand Paul's son? Or Rand the son?
Rand is the son.
Okay, Rand said the Constitution was not written to limit American citizens.
Right.
It was written to limit the politicians.
The government.
Yeah. But now it's backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Everything in the Constitution they're wanting to change to limit American citizens, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But Ukraine, man, I don't know, man. I think that whole thing was a cluster. You know what? Because Biden notified them yesterday or day before? Hey, they're going to invade you. Hell, I've been knowing it for a week.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't he call him a week ago? And then you got the Ukrainian president, like you said, he's like just sitting on his hands, and then last minute, oh, by the way, people, we need to take up arms.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Russians falling out of the sky with white parachutes, and Ukrainians are just sitting there watching them. Russians posting TikTok videos as they're floating down. It's like everybody knew this was going to happen, but nobody cared. And now that it has happened, all over news, prayers for Ukraine. Oh, we got to do this. Bro, we've known this a week ago. Why weren't we doing something a week ago?
Well. So, my whole thing, and he kind of just brought it up, was, hey, okay, even Biden's been saying, they're gonna invade, they're gonna attack. He didn't even say that precisely, but then their own president is saying, no, everything's okay, guys. Biden's lying. It's not gonna happen. It's just weird to me, and I've already told him this. We're re-digressing, but it's weird to me that the president of this country can say everything's okay when it's obviously not. They're moving in. He leaves. Where I don't even know where he went. He went somewhere. Most their Congress and their high government powers left their main positions. And now that they've fully gone into war mode, we've seen the weird videos. Yeah. The jet coming in, shooting missiles. the parachuters, like it's dang Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
So at that point, now these citizens, these people that are in their country, love their country, want their country.
Probably a majority of them never had any training whatsoever.
Absolutely not. For instance, there's an invading force dropping in on parachutes and they're recording.
Yeah, they're sitting there just watching them.
Because it's not real, right?
If that would happen on U.S. soil, every hunter in America would be out there with their rifles and it would be open season on parachutes.
Do you think it would be that way in California?
Well, they're going to have to reload a lot. Because they don't have high capacity mags. And they're going to have their little keys on standby to eject their mags. But I want to say it wouldn't be that way in California for a simple fact. Even if they had to reload a bunch, there's going to be some common sense people out there like these guys are floating down, they're sitting ducks.
Right.
Let's say there's 10,000 guys floating down. Well, if we could cut that number in half before they hit the ground, we stand better odds. But and that brings me to another point of everybody saying, anyone that's watching this that says, why do you need an AR-15? Why do you need high capacity mags? Why do you need this or that? Whatever.
Which is above 10.
Yeah.
Any magazine above 10 would be.
As long as it's legal, don't ask me why I need it. You may not think, it may not happen in my lifetime, that U.S. gets invaded. But if it did, would you rather have an AR-15 with high capacity mag that you don't have to stick a key in to reload so you can defend yourself, or would you rather have 10 rounds, have to have a key to eject your mag? Like, come on, people.
So, and I'm not sure, I couldn't even tell you, and this is bad on me for not knowing. So there are new ARs coming out now. And they now, where you have the pistol grip, right? Mm-hmm. You can't put your hand around it. There's a big thing behind it. So you have to kind of clamp it with your hand.
Is that going to be for certain states?
I'm pretty sure that's the California.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Something has changed to where
I saw it where they changed the pistol grip.
Yeah. Yep. So now you can't even grip your own AR. That makes it legal, is what it is.
And that goes back to the whole thing Rand Paul said. The Constitution should not limit American citizens. It's there to limit the government. And the government trying to say, oh, you can't have this. Okay, I'll tell you what. When every politician gets rid of their armed guard that have high capacity mags and has, elite weaponry, when you do that, I'll be more than happy to give up myself. Until then, don't ask me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy, and they feed on dumb stuff, and it's more of a control thing because we think we're such a great superpower that could never happen to us.
Yeah, like people think America cannot be invaded, bro. It can. It at the end of the day, it can. Just think about this. Yes, we have one of the biggest militaries, but they are spread thin. How many bases we got overseas?
I don't know.
How many would you guess?
Major ones, at least Marine Corps ones, would be South Korea, Germany, Japan. Where else? Africa. Those are the main ones I can think of.
Okay, that's Marine Corps.
But that's just Marine Corps.
Let's think about Army, Air Force.
I couldn't tell you.
We are spread thin, dude. Like, listen, I'm just guessing here, but I would say maybe half, a quarter, or quarters overseas. Mm-hmm. Right? So we don't have a full military just sitting here saying, yeah, come on in. We got one of the biggest military. They're spread thin. So then it's going to be civilians. Now, unlike Ukraine, America's got basically the largest civilian army in the world. Oh, hunters, fishermen, all that stuff. So we'd be fine, but if you start limiting what we can have, we wouldn't stand a chance.
Well, that was, and I can't remember the quote, but it was an old question. This isn't anything new. It's like, and it might have been World War II even. It might have gone back that far. I think it was. I think it was a question to Japan. is why didn't you actually invade America? Is because kind of their saying or quote was, behind every blade of grass is a gun.
Yeah.
So there is that factor of, people are caught up in the politics, the left, right. Should you have a gun? Should you not? When it comes down, and these are little wiener people that haven't been in any type of, haven't seen an impoverished country or a dictatorship, haven't experienced war, trying to tell you that you can't defend yourself because they want to control you. But they don't realize that as soon as this guy sees, oh, you're not armed anymore, I'm going to go ahead and let myself in.
One of my friends on Facebook the other day asked the greatest question, and I've been saying this for years. To be a politician, should you had to serve in the U.S. military?
Absolutely.
And I said 100% yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and I'll even explain. You got people in D.C. talking about weapons that they had no idea about. Nothing. Sheila Jackson Lee. Oh, AR-15's heavy.
Well, hold on. Let me pause you. So, I don't know what I would say would be also should go for the state. Any government position where you're in charge of people and a leader, I would say yes, that should be mandatory.
Yeah, and I'll go even one further. You got people that never even served in a state position get elected in a national, a federal position. Yeah. It should be steps. Mm-hmm. One of the biggest things that irks my nerves is okay, I go to the poll and I elect a congressman that's supposed to represent my district. Yeah. And then 90% of the time, he's not even in my district. Yeah. He's in D.C., traveling overseas, doing other stuff, and he's not doing anything for my district.
Talking for his next run.
Like, dude, you were elected to represent this district. Mm-hmm. You weren't elected to go to D.C. and make all the national and federal things. Like, I can understand. And with the technology we have, it baffles me why they even have to be in D.C.
Well, okay, so I could say, as far as, let's say, our representatives, okay. Well, for one, let's say it's your step-up plan, right? Mm-hmm. Local or state, and then federal. Which is fine, I don't even care that way. But now are we talking, are there term limits or not?
Should be term limits.
And then where do you limit that specifically? Is it once you get to federal?
It should be every position.
Is it every position?
Yeah.
Right. You have
I think
2-term limit.
Okay, let's think about this. The most important position in our government, you can only serve 8 years. That's it. Maximum of 8 years. President.
Well, 2 terms.
Yeah, 2 terms.
Yeah.
But congressman, you can be there till you freaking fall over and die in your seat.
A justice.
Yeah, it makes no sense. Yeah. Every position should be matched the president. 2 terms. That's it. That's all you get. Right. And then you can go up, and the clock starts over.
Or you can go sideways, laterally.
Yeah, like if you were a senator and you moved over and became a congressman, you get 8 years in Congress, but then you're done. Right. And then the whole retirement thing, gee, don't get me started on that. You got guys in the military that go, get hurt, get injured, and if they didn't do 20 years, they don't get their retirement. It wasn't their fault. They got hurt. They sacrificed everything for this country, and they can't get their retirement. A congressman can do 1 term, and he gets his retirement.
Yep.
Makes no sense.
And their retirement's pretty dang good.
Yeah. But another thing I wanted to bring up. Okay, let's think about Obama.
Hold on. Let me. We come back, but let's go back to Ukraine.
This is on it.
Okay.
Bush, Obama, even Trump. When someone started kind of acting up, they immediately placed sanctions on them. They didn't wait. They placed sanctions on them. Russia was already invading Ukraine before Biden placed sanctions on Russia.
Correct.
And we knew this. They got way way more intelligence than I got. All I got is what I see on the internet and news,
Mm-hmm.
and the internet news reporting showing paratroopers falling out of the sky, tanks running over cars, freaking jets shooting missiles and blowing up your neighbor's house,
Mm-hmm.
and then Biden places sanctions on. Why did it take so long for him to actually just say, okay, we're going to start slapping sanctions on these people?
He also re-put on a sanction.
Mm-hmm.
That was Trump's sanction.
Yep.
That he came in like, oh, let me remove everything Trump did just because it was Trump. So he removed that sanction that was already on Russia. And then, Russia, Putin. He's like, oh, idiot. Like.
And then here's another thing. Trump got his Twitter banned for saying mean things. Putin's Twitter still works.
No, Putin doesn't say mean things.
But still, his Twitter still works.
Yeah.
You got sports organizations pulling events from Russia, but yet Twitter's like, hey dude, if you want to talk, go ahead.
Yeah.
Like,
because it's soft American feelings. That's all it revolves around.
Last night after you went to sleep, I was watching these guys' podcast, and they were cracking it. They weren't joking about it, but they were saying, someone asked, why didn't Putin do this under Trump? He's like, dude, if you're a guy that wants to invade somewhere, and the guy that could actually like step up against you, but you don't know, like he's nuts, like you don't know what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
He's a wild card.
Yeah.
He said, why would you go against him when you can say, hey, maybe we just sit back and wait a few years, and old Sleepy Joe comes in, and he don't wave no stick at all. Then we can just do it under them.
Yeah.
And I started thinking, I was like, that actually makes sense, dude.
Absolutely.
And they brought up the art of the book Art of War.
Sun Tzu
says you need to know the outcome before you go to war. And they were saying when Trump was in office, you couldn't know the outcome because you don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah.
You could go invade, and he's like, all right, give me the launch code and just launch all the nukes over there. Or he could just send a full force of the military at him. You didn't know what the outcome was going to be.
Right.
With Biden, you have examples in the past of what he and that leadership kind of does.
What do you mean, segregating black people?
Well, yeah, that too.
That's what he did. That's from the past.
That's a whole different. Yeah, that's a whole different subject, and I don't know why people. But I've told you this in the past. You could do foul things to black people, and then you get a pass if you become a liberal, if you become a Democrat.
Well, you make promises.
Yeah.
You
get a pass.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay. Let me refocus too, because I could go off on a whole other tangent.
We could be here for hours.
So, one thing I thought was cool, which we saw earlier, was okay. People in how do you say it exactly? Is it Kiev?
Kiev.
Yeah. Okay. So the people in Kiev are actually coming together. And the best part
civilians.
Civilians.
Civilians. Like, everyday Joe Blow, teacher, librarian,
bank accountant,
nurse, bank accountant
with 2 kids, a female, going into to become pretty much a militia. And then it switches to this guy, and I wasn't paying attention, and I saw these people pulling apart the dang styrofoam, and they're like, they're helping, and I'm like, wait, I missed something. Let me go back. They're pulling apart the styrofoam to put in Molotov cocktails, so it gives it that sticky base when they
once
throw
you start burning,
you
ain't getting it off you.
So it was just hilarious, sad that they have to do it, but hilarious.
Here's a question for you. Because judging from what the videos we saw,
right,
I would say, if not all, majority of the Ukraine civilians are like, we're not going to take this.
Right.
You know, we're going to fight for our country.
Mm-hmm.
How many Americans, and given today's, the way a lot of Americans feel about America, how many Americans, what percentage of Americans do you think would do the same thing if we were being invaded?
Again, where are you going? Okay, let's just take from what I know. When I was in the Marine Corps, I swear like half the Marine Corps was from Texas. 1/4 of it was from Ohio.
But that's a different era when you were in the Marine Corps. I'm talking about today.
I'm saying it still has to carry over. So if they were coming to Texas, I think we're good.
Yeah, I would say all southern states.
Yeah. Northern or
even
not even
Midwest.
North. Yeah, because the whole
Midwest. I would say Midwest too.
Yeah, Wyoming, Idaho,
yeah,
Montana.
But those populations are low.
Right, but they're still ready to battle. So.
But.
Go to the coastlines.
Both coasts?
East and west.
Screwed.
Yeah. Because,
well, I would say from, Virginia?
Mm-hmm.
On the other side of Virginia up.
Yeah.
Screwed.
All the way, all the way down to Florida pretty much.
I would say Florida would hold their own.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Stop at Florida. But all those major states. Most of California. But
there would be some there. Yes.
So here's my thought. I don't even know. I think it's funny in my mind. Is you'd have most of like L.A. right? Would they be trashed? They'd be destroyed. But I'm also thinking like the gangs and guns.
Dude, believe it or not.
And the cartel has so much influence.
Believe it or not, when I worked in the prison, a lot of felons are very patriotic.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, it's our.
I ran across a lot of felons that said, if they offer to reduce my sentence, it made me do 20 years in the military, I would.
Right.
And I got a lot of respect from felons just because I was prior military.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like I said, from the videos we watched, if it was a percentage of people, Ukrainians that were like, that didn't want to fight for their country just because they didn't like their country, it's a very small percentage.
Right.
In America, today's climate, I would say there would be a large number of people be like, yeah, let them come. Maybe, because there's a lot of people out there that believe in socialism. There's a lot of people.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, they would have those are the people.
There would be people joining them.
Well,
joining the other side.
So here's they would be people out there with their signs, welcome.
Yeah.
When their tanks are rolling in, running them over.
Yes.
When the planes are coming and shooting at them.
And that's sad because, let's say 20 years ago. Let's go back to 2001. September 11, 2001. I think that's as close as our country has ever been. If something would happen
to complete
a
coercion,
couple years after that,
yeah,
I think majority of the country would have been ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
But now,
we were very cohesive.
Now it's just, it's horrible.
Well, what about this too? What if, you go to all the penitentiaries. Let's say they're hitting West Coast with all the penitentiaries there, right? They already got weapons there, but I'm just saying, all the civilians are fleeing, and then you go, hey guys, you make a battalion of freaking felons. Give them a gun. Dude,
if you told them, look, I'll knock your sentence off.
If you survive and you don't retreat, you're free.
I guarantee every one of them.
I'm just saying.
Every single one of them would be ready to fight, bro.
I don't think they'd make it past.
I don't know, dude. There's some dudes in there.
No, I'm saying I don't think the enemy would make it past the state.
I mean, but you probably have to give them.
Well, you'd have
to tell them. Well, there's no rules of engagement. Just go out there.
Exactly, it's war. It's real war. Yeah.
And I think they'd be okay with it.
Because they already have their. I mean, think even the little stuff. Okay, they have their own messaging, their own lingo, their talk, their own separate groups.
If you turn them loose, guerrilla warfare.
Yeah.
Those dudes would
legit.
Yeah. Those dudes would fight, and that's. I don't want to say it's sad because I think
it's stupid.
Yeah, it's stupid because
it's stupid.
You have someone that committed crimes, and all they want is their life back, and they'll be willing to risk everything. When you got everyday citizens that enjoy the freedom,
that have everything to want to risk it
have
for,
all the freedoms, and you could lose it all, and they're like, I just don't like this country.
Mm-hmm. I'm not really
but
happy
if you
with
tell
the
them,
president.
all right, you don't like this country, you're free to go. you're instantly labeled.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not being that. I'm just telling you the obvious. Like, if I go somewhere and I'm like, dude, I'm just not feeling the vibe. I don't want to be here. I don't like it here. I don't stay.
Right.
I leave.
Why? Yeah. Why would, if you hate it, why do you
yes,
stay?
I leave.
But that's another American issue. Is we continue to like dig our own hole, and I hate it here. But let me keep digging, and I just want to complain about it. I don't want to change it.
You know what I would like to see though, because what's going on in all seriousness is jacked up.
No,
you got people like we don't pick where we're born, right? We're just born there.
Right.
And the Ukrainian people happen to be born right next to a royal POS. And they happen to be on a parcel of land that is rich in resources. And now this guy is coming in there and just disrupting their lives, you know, and it's crap. So what I would love to see, it may never happen, but if some politician is listening, freaking send them people some help. You know, if you don't want to send troops,
airdrop stuff,
send them resources.
Here's
bro.
some guns.
Send them some guns. Because like we were talking earlier, at one point in time, Ukraine had like either one of or the largest stockpile of AK-47s and munitions and stuff, even tanks, and it's gone. These people, like you said, they're out there ripping up freaking what is it? Styrofoam to make Molotovs.
Yeah.
Send those people. Hell, we just left billions of dollars of stuff for ISIS in Afghanistan or Iraq or Afghanistan.
Yep, all the above.
If you'd have got that stuff, you could have dropped it over there to Ukraine. But send them some equipment, bro. You want to bump my taxes up a little bit? Send the Ukrainians.
No, they don't need that because you got the government feeding the cartels guns.
Yeah, like send them some stuff, man. Send them some rocket launchers. Send them some damn, you know,
firearms,
ammo. Made by Predestined Firearms. Give them a contract. Jeez. Send them something, man. Like, send them some plate carrier vests. Something, right. Bro.
We still got all that stuff from the Gulf War still.
Yeah. And we're supposed to have the best Air Force in the world. Send some planes over there.
So, which, I mean, realistically, that ain't gonna happen.
No.
And you can't see, we can't go there, and that's the difference, I think, is we can't go there and fight. That's why we're in Poland. But yes, why can't you send aid?
Yeah,
right?
Send them.
Send food, and inside the food are guns and ammo.
Yeah.
AKs, whatever they're used to.
It's clear the civilians are like, hey, we'll fight.
Yeah.
Even if we got to make up our own stuff,
right?
We'll fight. Just imagine
vodka.
Just imagine, and from the reports we read today, you know, they're holding their own, but eventually it's gonna cave because the stuff they're using to make their own, they're gonna run out of. If you sent them some high quality equipment, they might be able to win this on their own.
Well, I think there's, and here's again why it's weird. Putin didn't do a full rush into there, which he could have.
Yeah.
They could have just kept going and pressed in so fast.
Yeah, it's like we were talking.
Yeah.
Even the way, like, who still does that? Broad daylight. You drop thousands of paratroopers. When's the last time we did something like that? Broad daylight, just drop thousands of paratroopers where you can see them and you're like, yeah, we're coming. The way this is going makes no sense.
Yeah, it's almost more like a show of force.
Like you were watching Defeated a minute ago.
Yeah.
At nighttime. There's nothing popping off.
There's no booms, no pops. You couldn't see.
It's like everything happens. Why is everything happening in daylight?
Which it could, yeah. And some of that could be kind of the calm before the storm. Yeah. Maybe.
Because the civilians don't have night vision.
Yeah. Exactly.
So,
it's not like Russia doesn't have the air power to go in there and just carpet bomb.
Yeah.
Not saying they would, but they might. They
well,
could.
I mean, they
They
got
could sit there and
they got naval ships because they bombed that
Yeah.
island. Those 15 Ukrainians told them to go F themselves.
yeah, they could sit there and constantly bomb the outskirts and push in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not trying to murder all the civilians, but
Yeah.
hey, we're coming in. So they would start evacuating, and then you just slowly push forward.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be that simple too, but it's totally weird.
It's like I said. Also, even Biden, like we knew this a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was all over the news. It's gonna happen.
Yeah. World
And
War III.
We're sitting there, and then what? 24 or 48 hours before it actually started. I think it was 24 hours before it actually started. Then Biden's like, "Hey, President of Ukraine, yeah, Russia's on the way. You might want to get out of there." Why didn't you tell him a week ago so they could prepare?
How did he not know?
Oh, he knew. He knew. He knew. The intelligence we got. If he says I didn't know a week ago, okay, but somehow y'all said Trump had a meeting at a hotel, or Trump Jr. had a meeting at a hotel with a Russian operative. You can find that out, but you can't find out that damn Russians are invading Ukraine a week before.
Yeah.
It was on the news.
Mm-hmm. Which is a real issue. And people don't realize nowadays. It's actually an issue for Russia that their troops are putting this on TikTok, which also kind of makes me wonder if that's more psychological.
It could be.
Like
That's what.
go ahead and post this, guys.
Bro,
Here we come.
Here's the thing. If I go on Facebook right now, and a dude I grew up with,
Mm-hmm.
known since I was a kid, if I tell him, "Hey man, next time I see you, I'm gonna hit you in your kneecap," I'll get a 30-day ban like that.
Mm-hmm.
But you got Russians doing TikToks while they're floating down to go harm people.
Right.
They're not getting banned.
Yeah.
Putin, who's the mastermind behind all this, is still has his Twitter account wide open.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
No, nothing does nowadays.
No, everything's backwards, dude. It's like everything that's wrong is right, and everything that is right is wrong. Common sense has been forgotten.
Yeah. We know that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So here, okay. Let's kind of end on this. What is Wesley Hale's prediction of the outcome of, and when I say outcome, I mean just this. Do you think it's going to lead to further war? Do you think it's going to end sooner and there's going to be some weirdness? What is your kind of prediction?
Okay, I'm going to break this up in a couple categories. First, do I think there's going to be a World War III? No. I don't think I'll see a World War in my life.
Well, we're kind of already have been in a World War III, as far as intelligence, technology,
Yeah.
and Space Force,
But
as far as cyberspace.
We understand that.
Yeah.
But the everyday Joe,
Right.
if you mention World War, they're thinking like
World War II.
the old wars
Yeah.
where people were getting hung up in barbed wire and
Right.
cut down, and you're in trenches and this and that, and we have auto manufacturers making ammo and stuff. I don't think we'll ever have a World War in my lifetime, and I say that because everything is based around money
And technology,
and resources,
in cyberspace.
yeah,
almost.
and all that. So I think when people do things like Putin's doing, it's all about posturing.
Mm-hmm.
Because you also got to think, when Trump was in office, he placed a lot of sanctions. Even Obama placed some sanctions on him too. The Russian people the Russian country has a lot of sanctions on. If Putin can posture like this, it forces people to come back to the negotiation table.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, hey, okay, if you give me this, this, and this, I'll withdraw.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows? He may say, I want these sanctions lifted. I want a little piece of Ukraine.
Which you probably would.
Yeah.
I would think.
Yeah. And it's probably going to be the most valuable piece of Ukraine. Everything is about, we're guilty of it. Once again, Libya with Gaddafi.
Mm-hmm.
Gaddafi, their whole, he was a POS.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. But their whole monetary system was not connected to a bank.
Right.
The big banks.
Yeah, that's why they removed him.
It was all backed by the gold. And he
Yeah.
had a lot of gold. So what they do? oh, well, your stuff's not backed by the central bank system. We'll remove you. We'll take all your gold. Even Saddam.
Yeah, Saddam
had a lot of gold, and what they do, moved him, took all that gold. Mm-hmm. We're guilty. Our country's guilty of it. I'm not saying our country's innocent by no means, but I can tell you this: I don't want to throw a dart at a world map, and wherever it lands, I have to live there, not unless I can guarantee it hits the United States of America.
Right.
Because there's a lot of countries that have freedoms, but you don't know all the freedoms. Right. I mean, there's countries that have the same freedoms as us, but you can't own a firearm to protect yourself.
It's kind of like, I mean, you could pick a country, specifically Africa, of, yeah, you're free. Do what you want. Yeah. You know, you have to work really hard to go get your water every day, to hunt. Yeah. But then guess what? As soon as you start getting up on your feet, now the gangsters move in. Yeah. Oh, I'm the warlord of this area. You got.
They don't have a big police.
You got to pay your tax.
Yeah, they don't have a big police system.
And so even if they actually do protect them, let's say, because there are those, you know, they're still taxing their people. Yeah. And they're taking whatever they want as the tax, and it's not free. It's not. Nothing is being built, and all this great ease of lifestyle. Their lifestyle still sucks. It's still hard. And people come and take it because if you don't pay, then you'll get shot.
I agree.
Or if you do pay, it's the mob mentality. You pay me, I'll protect you. You don't pay me, I'll kill you.
Yep. So. But going back to your question, I think it's.
Bless you.
I think. I don't think it's going to end quick because I think there's going to be a lot of negotiations. I think there's going to be some bloodshed, which is sad because you're killing people basically just for money, and that's never a good thing. But I really don't think it's going to go too far. Everybody out there that's saying, "Oh, we're going to go to World War III. Oh, Biden's going to intervene." I saw a thing on Facebook where someone posted this thing saying Putin has a missile that will kill every breathing thing in the world. People, what would be the whole point of doing it? Him going to Ukraine if he was just going to do that? Because it's going to kill him too.
If I even believed that.
Yeah, even if I believed it.
Was it the Death Star?
He basically went into Ukraine just to commit suicide. Because that's what it boils down to. It's not going to be like that. There's going to be some fighting. There's going to be some bloodshed. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to that. Putin wants to make his country rich.
Yeah. He wants to be an actual superpower.
He wants to be the Soviet of the 80s.
He doesn't want to have to bow down to the U.S. Or anybody else.
Because you think about it. In the 80s, before, Soviet Union.
Right, the Cold War.
It was what? Americans and the Soviets. Yeah. 1 and 2. Or 2 and 1. They flip-flop. And then when they disbanded, then you had, like, the rise of, China.
Well, China was... Yeah, I know what you're saying, but they were right there with Russia, or USSR at the time.
Yeah, but China wasn't as rich as they are now.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. Militarily correct. Yeah.
And now, I wouldn't even put... I mean, as far as military size, Russia's up there, but as far as, like, their economy, monetary, system, I wouldn't even put them in the top 3.
Well, it's more like tech, too.
Yeah.
So, China has all the people in the world to throw at your... But let's take Israel. They have all the tech in the world, but they don't have the people. Yeah. So, it's kind of like...
That's what I'm saying. He wants to be back up there in the top 3.
Yeah,
and that's all this is. Because, I mean, there's a list that you can look up of the resources in Ukraine. Matter of fact, let me just read this.
Yeah, go ahead. Look it up. Well,
I got it right.
My question is, too, because Russia's so dang huge. Yeah, there's ice and frozen wasteland. What's under all that?
I don't know.
You can't tell me all that land has nothing. Stuff.
So, all right. Ukraine.
What are you citing?
I didn't screenshot the source, but it's a good story. You can look it up. I've looked it up on Google.
No, what is it? What do you?
This is Ukraine ranks and resources.
Yeah. What's the website or whatever? Where'd you get this from?
I didn't screenshot the.
Oh, you only screenshot from the page, not that.
Yeah, I just screenshot the list. But you can look it up. Google resources in Ukraine.
Look it up.
That's what I did. Okay, first in Europe, improving recoverable resources of uranium. Second place in Europe, and 10th place in the world in terms of titanium ore reserves. Second place in the world in terms of explored reserves of magnesium ores. 2.3 billion tons, or 12% of the world's reserves, are in Ukraine. Second largest iron ore reserves in the world, 30 billion tons. Second place in Europe in terms of mercury. Third place in Europe. 13th place in the world in shale gas reserves. Yeah, that's what Russia needs, more oil. 22 trillion cubic meters of shale gas. Fourth in the world by total value of natural resources. That one spot, fourth in the world. Seventh place in the world in coal reserves. Ukraine is an import agriculture country. First in Europe in terms of arable land area. Third place in the world by the area of black soil. First place in the world in exports of sunflower and sunflower oil. Second place in the world in barley production. Fourth place in barley exports. Third largest producer and fourth largest exporter of corn in the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, well, here's another weird thing to me.
And hold on, here's the biggest one. First in Europe in ammonia production. Ammonia's used in a lot of bad stuff, bro.
But with all these resources, right? Why did they not have a military? Now, is this corruption from the government controlling this stuff and making their...
No, I could tell you why they don't have a military. When
Ukraine, sir.
When Ukraine became separate from
right.
I guarantee you, if someone wants to do the digging, there's stipulations. Yeah, we'll let you go and do your own thing, but you're not gonna be able to have this,
right?
Or you're not gonna be able to have that.
But that's an issue. Is it's kind of like, to me, what I kept hearing, they don't have the military, and then I'm thinking, I'm thinking Ukraine is this tiny little.
Nah, it's big,
right?
Bro.
Like, because
it's I forgot what it was. It's top 3 land area over in that area.
Europe.
Yeah, it's
Now I know that.
Yeah.
But originally I'm thinking, okay, they don't have this big military, and then now I'm seeing like, why they have all these resources, they have the people. Mm-hmm. Why do they not have a top? Why can't they have?
And they got a big population too.
Right.
They're not a small population.
At least maybe they can't go out and attack, but where is their defenses?
Well, I mean, you think about it. I go back to the thing saying, when they separated, I guarantee there's something in there saying, hey, you can't have this. If you start doing that, we're going to take that as an act of aggression.
And then we're going to
because you think about it, if they got all those resources, the money that they could have, and then you tack on a military, they would be one of the big dogs.
Should be.
Yeah, they
I mean, if all that's true, and then, so yeah, I would agree that because they weren't in NATO, they didn't have that backing.
Yep.
So then, and that's kind of how.
And that's another one. Why aren't they in NATO? All those resources.
So remember,
you don't have a military. Why not be in NATO so you have some sort of protection?
Yeah, but neither is Finland or Sweden. And Putin just threatened them.
That's what I'm saying. Russia's not in NATO, are they?
No.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
I guarantee you, when they separated, it was, you can't have a military.
Yeah, but that's different because Sweden and, what did I just say? The other one? They were never part of the USSR. They've always kind of been their own thing.
But they're close.
Yeah, but that's weird.
And they're, I mean...
So yeah, but Sweden, that's the question.
Yeah.
Why are you not with a group?
I think Ukraine's answer would be when they separated, it was basically laid out.
They should have just
had this under provisions.
because I don't even know.
And you think about it also with all those resources, they don't look like a rich country.
Right.
They don't. So that also leads me to believe that maybe, yeah, they're their own thing, but behind closed doors, are they their own thing?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Could that country have been getting raped
Yeah.
ever since they left
Mm-hmm.
by Russia?
Right.
And now Putin's just like, you know what, dude, I'm just tired of closed.
It's already mine.
I need more. I need more. I need to get closer.
Hello, everybody, bow to me.
Yeah.
I am Putin.
So.
Don't know. But I think we should close there. And in this second episode of Guytalk, what are we at? Well, I mean, we're almost an hour in, so not too bad for episode 2 and a special guest. I usually don't have special guests or any guests. It's just me talking to the live.
I may be back
people.
next week. I may be back.
Boom, boom, boom.
We may have to pick another topic next week.
Oh, absolutely. Something more fun. Something less serious.
I got some things. I got some things we can talk about.
That's for your own podcast.
We can talk about Karens.
But, well, that's it. Thanks for watching if you made it this far. And hope to see you next time on Guytalk.
Later, guys.
Deuces.